Hey there. I wanted to do a quick video on the hero's journey. Now, a lot of us are going through the dark night of the soul, and it seems like the struggles and the challenges are relentless at times. And it could be something to do with health, your mission work as a soul, like what you're here to do to be of service to humanity. It could be finances. It could just be relationships. We all go through different challenging times, but a lot of times it follows this cycle called the hero's journey. And so what I wanted to do is to provide you some inspiration, okay? And it's really important if you're going through challenging times that you watch this video. So I'm going to go ahead and show you my illustration of the hero's journey. Okay, so many of you may have felt what we call called to adventure. Okay. And it's normally a calling, it's something that you're going through or that you're brought into. Sometimes it seems maybe even unwillingly because it's a difficult mission or a path that you know you need to go on or that suddenly shows up for you. Other times we have excitement around it and it's something that we really want to do. And we feel like it's going to bring us great success. Okay. And no matter what it is, though, we're meant to face certain challenges. We're meant to face ourselves. And so we, either as a soul or as a human being, make these decisions to go on this journey. And the reason why I say maybe as a soul is because you may feel like your entire life has been difficulty, or you came into a difficult life and it's just, it's in the stars that you're going to have a difficult life, right? I know a lot of people have felt that way. But what I want to say is there's always reasons for this. That you have, as a soul, you have an agenda, okay? And you're here to grow and to become something greater than you've ever been before. So that's why we go on this journey. Okay, so if this is resonating with you at all, I ask that you please just keep watching. I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible, but I really want you to leave this video feeling inspired and empowered. Okay, so as a soul, here you are on planet Earth, and you have this calling, right? For some people, let's just use the example of you become chronically ill. I know it doesn't sound like a great call to adventure, like you're going to have a lot of fun because we like to think adventure means fun, but adventure usually means challenges. Okay, that's what makes it an adventure. Okay, if it was always easy, it wouldn't be an adventure, would it? It would just be another day. So I just want you to think about it like that. You have this call to adventure. And for a lot of people who maybe their soul's mission is to be in service to others in some way, usually it's done through our hardships. We have to experience the hardships so that we have walked in those shoes so that we can show others. Okay. And so you have this call to adventure, willingly or unwillingly. And a lot of times it's unwillingly, and there's resistance to this call. And it might be because you know it's going to be difficult, or it might be because you feel like you're not worthy enough or not good enough for it or strong enough for it. So there's some resistance. But ultimately, if you are meant to do whatever this call is, you're going to get supernatural aid. You're going to feel like you just don't know what to do but this, or you have to do this in some way. And you're going to feel supported by God or the universe or those around you. Like it's just going to feel right. And what happens is, especially when we have so much resistance or we know it's going to be difficult, we might waver on it because we aren't sure. Now, one of the things I want to make clear is it's really important to start understanding when you feel like you're getting warnings from God, source, universe, that something is the wrong path, or when you're just feeling that anxiety or excitement because you know it's going to be challenging. Okay. It's not meant to be easy all the time. In fact, I think a lot of times it's meant to be difficult because we're meant to overcome something. It's just a part of that process here, this hero's journey and becoming more than you were, right? When you're lifting weights, you're not going to become stronger and bulkier unless you make it challenging for your muscles to lift those weights. It's the same thing as a soul. Okay, your soul is lifting weights through experience. Okay, but then you cross into that unknown, and that your struggle or your call or wherever it is you stepped into this call to adventure, it was the known, and kind of know who you are, where you've been, you kind of know what to expect that day. But when you agree to this hero's journey, you're crossing into the unknown. Usually people, they might think there might be some challenges, but they're thinking it's not going to be that difficult. Or even if they do think it's going to be difficult, we always like to think it's easier than it actually is. So you might be thinking like, oh, I didn't realize it was going to be this difficult, or I thought I would have a lot more fortitude and strength than I actually have had, because it ends up being very challenging. Okay. So that's when you step into, as soon as you cross into the unknown, you start facing those challenges and failures. And it's important to understand that nobody goes through that hero's journey without this. That's a part of the process. So in actuality, you're not even failing. You're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. You're falling, you're crumbling. The old version of you needs to crumble so that the new version of you can come forward. Okay. That's what it's all about. When you're strengthening your muscles and you're lifting weights, like your muscle fibers tear and they get damaged a little bit, and then they need to repair, and they repair stronger. They come back stronger. Okay. That's why you don't lift weights every day for the same muscle group, because it needs time to recover. And then it becomes stronger, and then you can do more. But with those challenges and failures, we start to feel like we're giving up. We're feeling exhausted. We don't think we're going to make it. And along the way, you're going to find helpers and mentors. It's going to be exactly who you need to hold on to hope. Because in the beginning, you likely had faith or even belief in yourself. But you basically believed in yourself that you would make it through, even if you didn't think you were going to be perfect at whatever this journey is for you. But you thought, okay, I'm going to make it through. But the whole point of this journey is to break down that belief and have you holding on by a thread so that you can really deeply root in your belief and your faith and get stronger for it. Okay. But that's not going to happen until you get through that dark night of the soul. Okay. And then you're going through this death and rebirth. Now, what this feels like, it might feel like literally like you might be dying if you have a health concern. It might feel like you were given a death sentence, or it might feel like the death of the life that you thought you knew, where everything around you has crumbled and you have to start over. It might feel like you just don't have it in you, that you're not the person you thought you were. But either way, that's what, if you're on a big hero's journey, that's what that feels like. You're going to feel like you aren't going to make it, and you're going to lose hope. You're going to want to give up, and you're going to feel exhausted. Okay. But you're holding on. You're holding on a little bit. You're holding on to any little bit of hope you can find. And that's why those helpers and mentors are there. They're there. Honestly, they are from God's source universe. They are there to encourage you to keep going. Okay. Now, a lot of people give up here. It becomes too painful. They might take their life. They might just give up their mission. They might give up any idea of, what they felt called to do. And they might have felt so passionate about it before, but now they don't. Or they've just given up all hope that it's ever going to change. And they're in the dark night of the soul, and it just can't get any better than this. All right. And then they give up. So, and then they suffer in that state. They're down there in that dark night of the soul for a very long time because they've given up hope. So just know that that's a part of the process. And the more you can understand this process, the more you can work through it, and the more easily you'll work through it. And it's not going to be easy, but it'll be easier, and you'll understand it, and you'll know where you might be in the process. Okay. And you're going to look for those helpers and mentors, and you're going to allow it to keep your hope intact as you're going through that dark night of the soul, okay? Because the goal is ultimately transformation. You're in an initiation for your soul's ascension process with this. That is so important to understand, okay? It's like, you're going through, all year long, you've been in school and you've taken little tests along the way, but at the end of the year, you have the final exam, and it goes back all the way to the beginning of the year, the beginning of that year's journey, and it's testing you on what you've learned. And everything you've learned up to that point plays into that test. That's really what this is. Okay, so just know that. Keep it in mind. Watch this video again if you feel stuck. Okay, it's so important. So after you get through that death and rebirth, and when you're helping your helpers and mentors, when you've really tried to apply what you've learned in that death and rebirth state, you start having revelations and your belief starts coming back. You move from hope to faith, and hopefully from faith to belief, because you're not going to make it out of here until you have absolute belief in yourself and in the universe and God and in your process. You're not going to make it through there. You have to believe in it. Okay. And you really deeply must believe in yourself and that it's going to happen for you. That creates this transformation, which is the whole point. You're in this initiation for transformation. Okay. And that transformation, you are changing as a person. Your belief systems have probably changed, or they're going to change. Your methodologies, the way you approach things, your paradigms, it's all going to shift a little bit, at least, maybe a lot. And it needs to. We all have a lot of learning to do and a lot of growing to do. None of us have all the answers. So every single time we're in this experience of the hero's journey, it's all about discovery of self and the universe and how to become even better than you were. Okay. Now, one of the things I have found is once you get past this feeling of, okay, I have hope and belief and faith, and I'm feeling transformed, and I think I've got this, you're going to be hit with a lot of resistance and a lot of tests. Okay. Now, I'm going to speak about this because I think it's important. Now, those of you who know me, I really believe in the idea of oneness, the law of one, non-duality, although it's kind of a difficult task because we live in duality. So part of non-duality is the understanding of the law of one and realizing that everything is one and that we're creating everything around us in a way. Okay. Now, if you're not ready for that full understanding, it's going to feel like a slap in the face because you're experiencing duality, you're experiencing hardships. And how on earth would you be creating this for yourself? And why would you want to? Well, there's bigger picture ideas in mind here, but that doesn't necessarily help you when you're in the muck of it all and you're in the lowest rung of the experience of duality. Most people, the vast majority of people, can't just enlighten themselves out of that space. Okay, so you have to navigate it a little bit, and that's okay. Most people, that's part of the process. Okay, so if you can allow yourself to remember that duality exists, and right now you're experiencing it because you have to push through in utter and pure faith and belief in yourself and in whatever is good in this experience, that it is working for you. Okay. Even the things that you view as negative or bad or the opposing forces, they are working against you, but it's actually ultimately still working for you. Because again, that resistance in those tests are like lifting weights for your soul. Okay, this is really truly testing you. Are you sure you have faith and belief? Are you standing strong in that faith and belief? If you're feeling like you've had that dark night of the soul, the death and rebirth, and you feel like you've gotten back into your belief and you feel transformed, and then you suddenly start getting a lot of tests and resistance again, that's where you're at. It's like it's the final experience of, no, I've got this. I've got it. We're good. We're good. But you're not going to achieve that goal that you set out to achieve until you've done this. Okay. Once you achieve that goal, you're on the other side. You're back into feeling like, okay, I think I know who I am now. I think I'm good. Okay. But you probably have some healing and processing to do. You know, hindsight is 2020. And when you look back at that entire journey you've been on, you can really see it once you're really beyond that threshold and back into the known. When you're in that unknown and you're still questioning and you're not quite stable, you feel like maybe you've had some belief and revelation experiences and you're feeling like you're coming back into your power, you're still not quite there. You're not going to see it all, and you're not going to be fully healed. Okay. That healing and processing, it's going to happen throughout, but you're not going to really understand until you're through that threshold again. And I find a lot of people don't talk about this when they talk about the hero's journey. I feel like it's really important. So just keep that in mind with all of this. You're going to have to go through a bit of a healing and processing stage. And then you realize that you have truly become this other person. You have changed. And it's not superficial. It's ingrained, it's deep in you. It's now, it is you, it is who you are. It's that caterpillar that became the butterfly. Okay. And then because you've mastered it, you start teaching. It's time to show others how to do this because they're going to need your help. Whether it's, you know, you're officially in the healing or coaching or, you know, spiritual intuitive field and you're helping people in some way, or you just recognize it in somebody else, maybe a loved one or a coworker, you can help guide them in this process because you now understand it. Okay. Now, there are a lot of different versions of this image out there. I chose this, I created this because I felt like I've experienced this a couple of times, like really deep, big cycles of the hero's journey. And this is how I've seen my process and how I see it in others. So depending on what model you look at, some are going to have more steps, some are going to have fewer steps. Some of the different steps are going to have different names, but generally it's a similar idea. And you know, I highly recommend going online and looking for other versions of this and seeing, you know, what makes the most sense, and feel free to come back to this video and look at this and see how it's going to help you. Now, hopefully this is enough to inspire you and help you. I feel really honored if I'm one of those helpers and mentors for you along the way. If you feel like you need more in-depth support or help, please reach out. I do this for a living. This is what I do. I help people move through things like this. So don't hesitate to reach out and see how I can help you. All right, guys, so much love to you. And I really wish you all the best. And if you're going through the hero's journey, and especially if you feel like you're in the dark night of the soul, just know that you're loved, you are cared for, you are safe, and you're going to get through this. You have everything you need to get through this. You just have to start believing in yourself again. Okay. So much love to you. Bye, guys.